If I were to start building my lighting kit today and I could only afford one light, it would be this, a Speedlite. That's right, friends. The humble Speedlite isn't just a starter light. It's not something you graduate out of. It's an essential piece of gear that I think every photographer should own. And I want to walk you through why. Welcome back to Adorama TV. My name is Gary Hughes, and if you've never purchased a light before, or if you stopped keeping a Speedlite in your bag 20 years ago, this video is for you. So many photographers associate Speedlites with the look of on-camera flash, which can carry a bit of a stigma for a lot of us. Most photographers tend to treat a Speedlite like a spare tire. You don't really think about it until something goes wrong, and you just hope it's still there and in good shape when you need it. For those of us who love Speedlites and what they offer, we think about them more like a Swiss Army knife, not because they're the most powerful or the most exciting tool, but because they can solve the most problems in a pinch. 10 or 12 years ago, Speedlites were a very different animal. Clunky AA batteries, external battery packs, external radio triggers, slow recycle times, sometimes unreliable performance. A lot has changed. If you haven't thought about Speedlites in a while, let me explain why I think everyone should have one in their bag. Let's start with value. Speedlites are a very affordable way to add real lighting control to your camera bag. For the price, you're getting a surprising amount of power. In some cases, as much as 100 watt seconds. The Speedlite I've used for a long time, the Flashpoint XR2, is around $200 brand new, and you can often find it used on Adorama for even less than that. I've absolutely beaten this thing up over the years. I've used it for headshots, weddings, corporate events, and portraits on location. It has delivered great light for tens of thousands of images without overheating or failing. Next, flexibility. You can use a Speedlite on or off camera. You can modify it in countless ways and create really beautiful light in some tough situations. One of my favorite techniques is bouncing it off a wall or a ceiling while on camera to light up an entire room. In many situations, that approach can create light that looks surprisingly natural, especially in situations where it isn't practical to use extra off-camera lights on big light stands. And that same flexibility makes Speedlites perfect as a backup. Let's say you start with something like this as your first light. Over time, you add larger strobes in the same lighting system. Maybe the Speedlite isn't your first choice anymore, but it stays in your bag. And funny enough, that's where it shines. This little light can jump right into your setup as a hair light, a background light, edge light, or accent light whenever you need it. With a Speedlite in your bag, you always have one extra light available or a backup light if something fails. And speaking of failure, a Speedlite can also serve as a backup trigger. If your main trigger dies, the battery runs out, or something gets damaged, a Speedlite can step in and help keep the shoot moving. Fun fact, the very first time I went live on Adorama, my wireless trigger failed. You can watch that video at the link in the description. And the funny part is, I could have solved the problem if I had just remembered that I had an extra Speedlite sitting in my camera case. You starting to remember how useful Speedlites can be? Because we're not done yet. Here's one more bonus use that a lot of photographers forget about. Focus assist. Have you ever been photographing a wedding or event or anywhere in a space so dark that your camera struggles to focus? Pop a Speedlite on top and you can use the infrared focus assist beam to help your camera lock focus quickly. You don't even need to fire the flash for it to work. That one feature alone has saved my bacon plenty of times on real jobs. And even with modern mirrorless cameras doing a great job in low light, I still love knowing that I have a Speedlite to fall back on when things get really dark. So when you step back and look at it, a Speedlite does a lot more than people give it credit for. It's affordable, it's powerful for its size, it's incredibly flexible, it can act as a backup light, a backup trigger, and even a focusing aid in difficult conditions. And I don't even have the newest tech. Have you seen the Flashpoint X100? LED modeling light, full color touchscreen display, USB-C charging, and 100 watt seconds of power. It's bonkers. Look, a Speedlite isn't meant to replace all your studio strobes, but if you're new, It's a great way to start building your lighting kit. And if you're not new, it can absolutely be the ace up your sleeve in tough situations. A Speedlite gives you options, and for photographers, options matter. Tell me about your Speedlite experiences. Let's support each other in the comments. Ask any questions you might have, and I'll do my very best to give you answers. Don't forget to check the description for links to my favorite Speedlites and modifiers, and please like this video and subscribe to Adorama. They put out some great content, and it's one of the easiest and freest ways to support the channel. Thanks for watching Adorama TV. I'll see you next time.